Divine timing is the belief that everything in life happens at the right moment according to God's perfect plan. It is the understanding that there is a season for everything and no event in life is random or accidental. This concept teaches patience, faith, and trust in God's wisdom, knowing that He orchestrates circumstances according to His divine will. Many times people struggle with the idea of waiting, especially when they feel they are ready for something. However, divine timing is not about when we think we are ready, but about when God knows it is the best time for us. One of the biggest challenges people face in life is uncertainty. It is easy to become anxious when things do not go as planned. Whether it is a delayed job opportunity, a relationship that did not work out, or a dream that seems out of reach, the waiting period can be frustrating. However, divine timing reassures us that delays are not denials. Just because something is not happening now does not mean it will never happen. Sometimes God withholds something from us because He is preparing us for something greater. At other times, He may be protecting us from something we cannot yet see. Trusting divine timing requires faith. Faith means believing that even when we do not understand what is happening, God is still in control. It requires surrendering our own plans and desires, knowing that His plans are always better. Often, people try to force things to happen on their own terms, but when something is not in alignment with God's timing, it usually leads to unnecessary stress and disappointment. However, when we let go and allow God to work in His time, things fall into place effortlessly. The Bible provides many examples of divine timing. One of the most well-known stories is that of Joseph. He had dreams of becoming a great leader, but his journey was filled with hardship. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. For years, it seemed like his dreams would never come true. However, at the right time, God elevated him to a position of power in Egypt, where he was able to save many people during a famine. If Joseph had given up or lost faith in God's timing, he would not have seen the fulfillment of his purpose. His story teaches us that even when we experience setbacks, God is still working behind the scenes. Another powerful example is Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child, but they had to wait many years before Isaac was born. During the waiting period, they struggled with doubt and even tried to take matters into their own hands, which led to complications. However, in the end, God's promise was fulfilled exactly when it was meant to be. This story reminds us that trying to rush God's timing can lead to unnecessary difficulties. Instead, we should trust that He knows when the right moment is for His blessings to come into our lives. In our own lives, we may experience situations where we feel like nothing is moving forward. It is during these times that we must hold on to the belief that everything is happening according to a greater plan. Even when doors seem to close, it is important to remember that God is either redirecting us or preparing us for something better. A job rejection might lead to a better career opportunity. A failed relationship might make space for the right person. What we perceive as a delay is often God's way of aligning things perfectly for our good. Patience is an essential part of trusting divine timing. When we wait with faith and gratitude, we position ourselves to receive God's blessings in the best possible way. Instead of focusing on what has not happened yet, we should focus on growing, learning, and preparing ourselves for what is to come. When the time is right, everything will fall into place and we will realize that the wait was worth it. Faith over fear is the belief that trust in God is greater than any worry, anxiety, or uncertainty. Life is full of challenges, and fear often creeps in when things seem beyond our control. Fear can paralyze a person, preventing them from taking steps forward. It can fill the mind with doubt, making it difficult to see a way out. However, faith is the opposite of fear. Faith gives strength, courage, and the assurance that no matter what happens, God is in control. Choosing faith over fear means relying on God's promises, rather than being overwhelmed by life's difficulties. Fear often comes from uncertainty about the future. People worry about their jobs, finances, health, relationships, and many other aspects of life. When things do not go as planned, fear can take over, making it seem as if there is no solution. However, faith reminds us that God is always working behind the scenes. Even when the situation looks impossible, faith reassures us that God has a plan. Trusting in His plan brings peace in the middle of storms. Instead of allowing fear to dictate actions, faith encourages people to move forward with confidence, knowing that God is guiding their steps. In many stories from the Bible, faith overcomes fear. One of the most powerful examples is David facing Goliath. The entire Israelite army was terrified of the giant, but David had faith that God would give him victory. Instead of allowing fear to stop him, He stepped forward with courage, knowing that God was on his side. His faith gave him the strength to face a challenge that others were too afraid to confront. This story teaches that when a person puts their trust in God, even the biggest obstacles can be defeated. Another example is the story of Peter walking on water. When Jesus called Peter to step out of the boat, Peter began walking toward him. However, as soon as Peter looked at the waves and focused on the storm around him, fear took over, and he began to sink. Jesus reached out and saved him, asking why he doubted. This story shows how fear arises when faith is lost. When Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he was able to walk on water, but when he let fear take control, he sank. The lesson here is that faith must remain stronger than fear, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Faith over fear does not mean that fear will never exist. It means making a choice to trust God, even when fear is present. Many people wait until they feel completely confident before taking a step forward, but faith requires action, even in moments of doubt. It means stepping out even when the outcome is uncertain, believing that God will provide and protect. When fear says, "What if something goes wrong?" faith responds with, "What if God is making a way?" There are moments in life when fear seems overwhelming. A health crisis, financial struggle, or loss can shake a person's confidence. However, faith reminds us that God is bigger than any problem. Fear focuses on what is going wrong, but faith focuses on what God can do. It shifts the perspective from worry to trust, from doubt to hope. Instead of being consumed by fear, a person who walks in faith finds peace even in difficult times. One of the best ways to strengthen faith is through prayer and reading God's Word. The Bible is full of promises that remind believers of God's faithfulness. Verses such as Isaiah 41:10, which says, "Do not fear, for I am with you," offer comfort in times of uncertainty. Surrounding oneself with encouragement and reminders of God's power helps replace fear with faith. At the end of the day, faith over fear is about trust. It is about believing that no matter what happens, God is in control. Fear may come, but faith is stronger. When faith is chosen over fear, peace follows, and doors open in ways that were never imagined. Trusting in God's plan leads to a life filled with confidence, hope, and assurance that everything will work out in the right way at the right time. Closed doors in life can be frustrating and difficult to understand, but they often serve a greater purpose. When opportunities slip away or plans do not work out as expected, it is easy to feel discouraged. However, every closed door is part of a bigger picture that may not be visible at the moment. God does not close doors to punish or harm. Instead, He does so to redirect, protect, or prepare for something better. Understanding that closed doors have a purpose brings peace and trust in God's plan. One of the main reasons a door may close is protection. Sometimes people desire something that seems perfect, but God sees what they cannot. A job that was lost might have led to stress and burnout. A relationship that ended might have prevented heartbreak in the future. A missed opportunity might have created unnecessary struggles. At the moment, it can feel disappointing, but in time, it often becomes clear that the closed door was a blessing in disguise. What may seem like rejection is often God's way of steering someone away from harm. Another reason for a closed door is preparation. Sometimes people are not yet ready for what they are asking for. If a door opened too soon, they might not have the strength, wisdom, or maturity to handle what is behind it. God uses waiting periods to build character, develop skills, and deepen faith. Just like a seed needs time to grow before it becomes a tree, people need time to prepare before stepping into new opportunities. A closed door does not mean never. It often means not yet. Trusting that God is working in the waiting makes the process easier to endure. Closed doors also serve as redirection. When one path is blocked, it often means that God has something better in store. It is easy to become attached to specific plans, but God's vision is greater. A person may be determined to go in one direction, but if it is not aligned with their purpose, God will close the door and guide them to a better one. This redirection may not always be immediate or clear, but in time it becomes evident that the path God chooses is far better than anything imagined. The Bible provides many examples of closed doors serving a greater purpose. One well-known example is the story of Moses and the Israelites. When Pharaoh refused to let them go, it seemed like a door was permanently shut. But God had a plan. After multiple refusals, He performed miracles that ultimately led to the Israelites' freedom. If Pharaoh had agreed immediately, the Israelites might not have witnessed God's power in such an extraordinary way. This shows that even when doors seem stubbornly closed, God is still working behind the scenes for a greater purpose. Another example is Paul in the New Testament. He intended to preach in certain regions, but the Holy Spirit prevented him from going. At first, it may have seemed like a setback, but later Paul was led to Macedonia, where his ministry flourished. This redirection allowed him to spread the gospel more effectively. His story teaches that when God closes a door, it is because there is a more significant opportunity elsewhere. In everyday life, people face closed doors in different forms. It could be a job that does not work out, a business that fails, or a relationship that does not last. In those moments, it is easy to feel like something is being taken away. But faith reminds us that God is making room for something greater. Instead of dwelling on what did not happen, it is important to trust that what is ahead will be better. Patience and trust are key when facing closed doors. While it may not always make sense at the moment, looking back often reveals how everything fit together perfectly. What once seemed like a loss turns into a blessing. Closed doors are not the end of the story. They are simply part of God's process in leading to something greater. Trusting His plan brings peace and confidence, knowing that every closed door serves a purpose. Patience is one of the most important virtues in life, yet it is also one of the most challenging to develop. In a world where everything moves quickly, people often expect instant results. Whether it is in career growth, relationships, personal success, or achieving goals, the desire for immediate gratification can make waiting difficult. However, patience is key to achieving long-term success and spiritual growth. It allows people to trust in the process, develop resilience, and grow in faith. When things do not happen according to personal timelines, patience reminds us that delays are not denials and that everything will unfold at the right time. One of the greatest lessons patience teaches is trust in God's timing. Many times people pray for something and expect an immediate answer. When things do not happen as quickly as desired, frustration and doubt can take over. However, God's plan is always perfect, even when it does not align with human expectations. A delayed answer to prayer does not mean it has been ignored. Instead, it often means that God is preparing something better or that the person is not yet ready for what they are asking for. Learning to wait patiently strengthens faith and deepens the understanding that everything happens for a reason. Patience also builds character. The process of waiting is often where the most growth happens. Challenges, obstacles, and setbacks can be frustrating, but they serve a purpose. They shape people into stronger, wiser, and more prepared individuals. Without patience, it is easy to give up too soon and miss out on opportunities that require endurance. Just like a seed takes time to grow into a tree, personal development takes time. People who rush the process may not develop the necessary strength to handle the blessings they are asking for. Patience allows for steady and meaningful growth, ensuring that when the right moment comes, they are fully prepared. Another important aspect of patience is learning to handle disappointments with grace. Life does not always go as planned. Sometimes doors close, relationships change, and dreams take longer to come true than expected. In these moments, patience helps maintain a positive perspective. Instead of becoming bitter or discouraged, patient people understand that setbacks are not permanent. They see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than as reasons to give up. The ability to stay calm and hopeful during difficult times is a powerful trait that leads to long-term success and inner peace. Many stories in the Bible highlight the importance of patience. One well-known example is the story of Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child, but they had to wait many years before Isaac was born. During the waiting period, they struggled with doubt and even tried to take matters into their own hands, which led to complications. However, when the time was right, God fulfilled His promise. This story teaches that trying to rush God's timing can create unnecessary difficulties, but those who wait patiently will receive blessings beyond their expectations. Another example is Joseph, who had dreams of greatness but had to endure years of hardship before they were fulfilled. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, yet he remained patient and faithful. In time, God elevated him to a position of power in Egypt, where he was able to save many people during a famine. If Joseph had given up, he would not have seen the fulfillment of his dreams. His story is a powerful reminder that patience and faith go hand in hand. In daily life, patience is necessary in many areas. Whether it is waiting for career growth, the right relationship, or personal goals to be achieved, rushing the process can lead to frustration and mistakes. Instead of trying to force things to happen, it is better to focus on preparation and growth. Patience brings peace and assurance that what is meant to be will happen at the right time. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about maintaining a good attitude while waiting. It is about trusting the journey, knowing that everything is falling into place in ways that may not yet be visible. Those who develop patience experience less stress, deeper faith, and greater success in the long run. When things take time, it is not a sign to give up. It is a sign to keep going with trust, knowing that the best is yet to come. Trusting the process means having faith that everything is unfolding as it should, even when the path is unclear. Life is full of uncertainties, and there are times when things do not go according to plan. In those moments, doubt, frustration, and impatience can arise. However, trusting the process means believing that every step, both the successes and the struggles, serves a greater purpose. It is about understanding that growth takes time and that setbacks are often setups for something greater. When things do not happen immediately, it does not mean they never will. It simply means that the timing or the journey is different from what was expected. One of the biggest challenges in trusting the process is dealing with delays and obstacles. People often have a vision for their lives and set expectations for how things should unfold. When reality does not match those expectations, it is easy to become discouraged. However, what seems like a setback is often preparation. Every challenge builds strength, resilience, and wisdom. Without these lessons, it would be difficult to handle the blessings that come later. The waiting period is not wasted time. It is a time of development. Just like a caterpillar must go through the process of transformation before becoming a butterfly, people must go through their own process of growth before reaching their full potential. Faith plays a crucial role in trusting the process. It requires believing that there is a greater plan at work, even when the details are unclear. Many times, people try to control every aspect of their lives, but true peace comes from surrendering that control and trusting that everything is happening as it should. Even when things seem to be falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. Trusting the process means embracing uncertainty with confidence, knowing that the right opportunities will come at the right time. There are many examples in the Bible that demonstrate the importance of trusting the process. One powerful example is the story of Joseph. As a young man, he had dreams of greatness, but his journey was filled with hardships. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. For years, it seemed as though everything was going wrong. However, Joseph remained faithful and trusted that God had a plan. In time, he was elevated to a position of power in Egypt, where he was able to save many people during a famine. Looking back, every difficulty he faced was part of the process that prepared him for his purpose. If he had given up during the hard times, he would never have seen the fulfillment of his dreams. Another example is the story of the Israelites leaving Egypt. After escaping slavery, they expected to reach the Promised Land quickly. However, their journey took much longer than they anticipated. They faced challenges, doubts, and moments of impatience, yet their process was necessary. It was during this time that they learned important lessons, developed faith, and grew stronger. The delay was not a punishment, it was preparation. If they had reached their destination too soon, they would not have been ready to handle it. Another example is the story of the Israelites leaving Egypt. After escaping slavery, they expected to reach the Promised Land quickly. However, their journey took much longer than they anticipated. They faced challenges, doubts, and moments of impatience, yet their process was necessary. It was during this time that they learned important lessons, developed faith, and grew stronger. The delay was not a punishment, it was preparation. If they had reached their destination too soon, they would not have been ready to handle it. In everyday life, trusting the process applies to all areas: career, relationships, personal growth, and spiritual development. A person may work hard and not see immediate results, but that does not mean their efforts are wasted. Growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Just like a seed must be planted and nurtured before it becomes a tree, success and fulfillment require time and patience. Those who rush the process often miss out on the lessons and strength that come from the journey. Trusting the process also brings peace. Instead of constantly worrying about the future, it allows people to focus on the present moment. Worrying about what has not yet happened only creates stress, but believing that everything is unfolding as it should brings comfort. It removes the pressure of trying to control everything and replaces it with confidence in the journey. Trusting the process is about having faith in the unknown. It is about believing that even when things do not make sense, they are still leading towards something greater. Every challenge, delay, and unexpected turn is shaping a person into who they are meant to be. The key is to stay patient, keep working, and remain faithful, knowing that in the right time, everything will come together exactly as it is meant to. Staying ready for opportunities means always being prepared for the moment when doors open. Life is full of unexpected chances, but many people miss them because they are not ready. Preparation is key to success, and those who stay ready do not have to scramble when an opportunity arrives. Whether it is in career growth, relationships, personal development, or spiritual growth, readiness ensures that when the right moment comes, it can be embraced with confidence. Being prepared requires discipline, patience, and faith that what is meant to happen will happen at the right time. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until the opportunity arrives before they start preparing. By the time they recognize a chance, it may already be too late to take full advantage of it. Success does not come from luck. It comes from consistent effort and preparation. Athletes train long before a competition, musicians practice long before a concert, and professionals develop their skills long before they get their dream job. Likewise in life, those who consistently work on themselves are the ones who are best positioned to step into new opportunities. Faith plays an important role in staying ready for opportunities. Many times people pray for something but do not prepare for it. They may ask for a better job but do not improve their skills. They may hope for a great relationship but do not work on becoming the best version of themselves. They may desire success but do not put in the effort required to achieve it. Faith without preparation is incomplete. True faith means believing that what is desired will come and therefore acting in a way that shows readiness to receive it. Opportunities often come unexpectedly. The right person, the right job, or the right situation can appear when least expected. If someone is not prepared, they may hesitate or lack the confidence to step forward. Preparation eliminates fear and doubt. When a person knows they have done the work, they can walk boldly into new situations without second-guessing themselves. Confidence is built through preparation, and confidence attracts opportunities. The Bible provides examples of people who stayed ready for opportunities. One example is David. Before he became king, he was just a shepherd boy. However, he spent years honing his skills. He fought off lions and bears while tending his sheep, unknowingly preparing for his future battle with Goliath. When the opportunity came to defeat the giant, David was ready because he had been training all along. His preparation gave him the confidence and ability to step into his destiny. Another example is Joseph. Though he faced many hardships, he remained diligent and faithful in every situation. When he was in prison, he did not waste time feeling sorry for himself. Instead, he continued to use his skills, interpreting dreams and managing responsibilities. When the opportunity arose for him to interpret Pharaoh's dream, he was ready. His preparation led to his promotion, and he became a ruler in Egypt. Had he not remained ready, he might have missed his moment. In everyday life, staying ready means continuously learning, improving, and positioning oneself for growth. A person who wants a great career should constantly build skills, network, and seek knowledge. Someone who desires a strong relationship should work on self-growth, communication, and emotional maturity. Those who want to make an impact in the world must stay open to learning, adapting, and serving. Readiness is not just about waiting. It is about actively preparing for what is to come. Staying ready also means maintaining a mindset of expectation. When people believe that opportunities will come, they live with greater purpose. They wake up each day knowing that their efforts matter. They do not waste time in negativity or doubt. Instead, they focus on becoming the best version of themselves so that when the right door opens, they can step through it without hesitation. Preparation meets opportunity. Those who stay ready do not have to rush when a chance arrives. They can step forward with confidence, knowing they have done the work. Life rewards those who are prepared, and the best way to ensure success is to remain ready at all times. Opportunities are always around, but only those who are prepared will be able to seize them. The key is to trust the process, stay committed to growth, and believe that the right opportunity will come at the right time.